This video is an introduction to the about-to-be declassified Boeing QC-135 weather modification aircraft. These were produced intermittently from the mid-1960s to the mid-1990s, with just over 150 of them being produced. They're characterized by the meteorological nacelles, which we also call pods, which are over the wing root directly in the center of the fuselage. They're not used on every mission, but every QC-135 and FC-135 has this feature. They've undergone a few distinct changes. The most noticeable is an avionics upgrade and paint scheme change which occurred in the last few years. These also have the unique distinction of being one of the very few 135s which is capable of receiving fuel in flight. The companion aircraft to the Boeing QC-135 weather modification airplane is the Boeing FC-135, which is essentially a KC-135 air tanker modified specifically to accommodate the weather modification missions of the QC-135. You'll notice that it also has a nacelle above the wing root, as well as an air refueling boom off the back of the fuselage. The interior of the Boeing QC-135 weather modification aircraft is occupied by a series of small tanks, not unlike those shown in this photograph. The tanks contain the spray material. The tanks, interestingly enough, are plumbed together such that the crew can move spray material from tanks in the front of the aircraft to those in the aft of the aircraft to change the center of gravity of the aircraft while in flight. The onboard spray management is astonishingly simple. The navigator simply selects the material being sprayed and simply turns the spray on or off. Interestingly enough, the systems are maintained and modified and calibrated by civilian contractors who are all Italian. I don't know why this is, but not a single one of them that I've seen are American. Every one of them is Italian. Referring back to the meteorological nacelles, or pods, this photograph is a view from inside of the aircraft. The blue framework you see is holding a series of stainless steel hybrid HEPA depth filters, which are individually inserted into the nacelle. Passing atmosphere crosses the filter inside the nacelle. The filter is then retrieved into the airplane, and then the next filter is put in. The reason for this, of course, is to measure the efficacy of your spray program. Once you've sprayed, you want to go back and analyze the atmosphere to make sure that you have the proper concentration of applied materials. Because the aircraft have been flying through plumes of toxic material for hours at a time, the aircraft, upon recovery, must be inspected for toxic residue on the exterior skin of the aircraft. Obviously, the toxic residue would be harmful to maintenance personnel and perhaps even the deplaning air crew. Therefore, environmental specialists with special equipment analyze the exterior skin of the aircraft after every mission before a single door or window is opened. Their equipment tells them whether or not the aircraft has toxic residues that are above a certain threshold. If this is so, the aircraft is given a thumbs down and the aircraft is taxied over to a wash rack where it is washed before it is allowed to taxi back to its normal parking area on the ramp. If the aircraft receives a thumbs up, it does not have enough toxic residue on its skin to hurt maintenance personnel or the deplaning flight crew. Because of the sheer volume of utter nonsense that I'm seeing from so many of the chemtrail videos on YouTube, I felt compelled to put out a quick video of my own from my years of experience with these aircraft. In fact, there's a fellow out there who's claiming that these airplanes are spraying coal fly ash, which is just ridiculous. So anyway, when you see these videos, people, use your head. If it sounds just too ridiculous to be true, it probably is. Anyway, I hope the video is useful to you.